Today I will be discussing the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act and how we can apply it to ethical theory. When I think of medical care, I think of a trip to the doctor, whether you're there for just a yearly physical, common cold, or something more serious. I also think of a doctor's visit as a right we as citizens should have, but the fact of the matter is, most of us don't. Some people don't want insurance. Maybe they have the money to go to the doctor. Some people can't afford insurance, racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of medical bills they can't pay. Or they don't go to the doctor at all and die of something as simple as the common cold. In response to all of this, our President Obama has signed into law something that will, according to the New York Times, guarantee access to medical insurance for tens of millions of Americans. This is something that many presidents, Democrat and Republican, have tried to do. But now what if this new law forced you to buy the insurance or pay a fine or tax? It becomes an ethical issue of right and wrong. The Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, a major project of Ted Kennedy who never got to see it through, took effect in March of 2010. It will take up to the year 2018 for all parts of the bill to be implemented. As we will see in a later slide, the bill reforms certain aspects of private health insurance, public health insurance, and pre-existing conditions. All of this brings me to my thesis. Applying the ethical theories of Aristotle, Kant, and Goethe, is it ethical to force people to buy insurance? That even though these theorists have seen different decades, centuries even, they are still brought together by a common idea, using reason, careful judgment, and common sense. Starting with the oldest theorist first, Aristotle. Ethics, Aristotle reasons, is about what is sought for its own sake, goodness itself, and not for the sake of something else, such as money or success. Obama is not trying to make himself look good or further his career. He is certainly not doing this for the money. I believe his interests are in the right place by creating this new healthcare law. According to the New York Times, the bill was intended to achieve Mr. Obama's broad goals of expanding coverage to the uninsured, while driving down health premiums and imposing what the White House calls common sense rules of the road, something I think Aristotle would have appreciated, considering he was all about using common sense. Also, according to Dombrowski in Ethics and Technical Communication, the right thing means going beyond what is expected because it is the right thing to do. Nothing about what Obama is trying to do is easy, and has been an ongoing battle since his election in 2008.
We are not a nation that does what's easy. That's not who we are. That's not how we got here. We are a nation that faces its challenges and accepts its responsibilities. We are a nation that does what is hard, what is necessary, what is right. Here in this country, we shape our own destiny. That is what we do. That is who we are. That is what makes us the United States of America.
Also, according to Aristotle, we should not be led by feelings such as anger, pity, pain, or pleasure, but we must always struggle to judge and weigh issues through reason. These ethical decisions should never be made in haste, and should never be influenced by feelings, but again by reason. There are no equations and no specific answers when it comes to ethical decisions. Aristotle wasn't the only one who thought ethics should be carried out through reason. Immanuel Kant believed in some of the same principles. For Kant, self-interest, material gain, and the greatest good for the greatest number are all beside the point. His ethics is a deontology, an ethical system emphasizing obligation or duty. For some, obligation and duty are apparently not important. The insurance companies, for instance, had previously been able to, according to the New York Times, drop sick and costly customers after finding technical mistakes on applications if their cost of care was too high. I would never have believed insurance companies would drop someone because their cost of care was too high. That is a whole nother ethical issue of its own. But among other things, Obama's new health care law will ban denying insurance coverage due to pre-existing illnesses, and will also cover more preventative care for women. This definitely reveals a sense of duty and obligation to the people. Moving on to the last theorist, Bernard Gert. Morality, for Gert, involves action rather than feelings, the avoidance of evil rather than the pursuit of good. Action and the pursuit of good is what Obama has undertaken with this new healthcare law. In order to show others that he has their best interests at heart, he has, according to politicsdaily.com, given the states the right to offer their own healthcare plans, as long as they can provide affordable insurance to at least as many residents as the Affordable Care Act provides. Gert also has what he calls the 5 primary moral rules. Don't kill, don't cause pain, don't disable, don't deprive of freedom, and don't deprive of pleasure. If Obama were not to create this new Healthcare Act, I feel that all of these would be broken by the inability of people to receive proper healthcare insurance. Now, some states have been so upset over this forced healthcare and the tax or fine attached to not having the insurance that they have tried to sue the federal government in order that the law should be repealed. These cases centered on whether Congress has authority under the Commerce Clause to compel citizens to buy a commercial product, namely health insurance. Obama is not creating this new healthcare law because someone told him to, but because he cares that the people of the United States are taken care of. That even though the president wants to impose a tax or fine, it goes back to the simple fact of reason over feeling, common sense, and obligation. I think what everyone fails to realize is the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act has been created because, according to Aristotle, Kant, and Gert, reason and duty dictate that it is the right thing to do. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you have taken away the information necessary to make an ethical decision on whether or not you think this healthcare bill was the right course of action.